If you've ever gone shopping for insurance, you know it can feel like you're trying to navigate a maze, right? Who do you talk to? And more importantly, who's actually on your side? Well, today, we're going to demystify the whole world of insurance professionals. We're going to answer a really critical question. What is the difference between an independent broker and a captive agent? And why does that choice matter so much for your financial future? So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the big problem in the insurance world that kind of sets the stage for everything. Then we'll dive deep into that central choice, broker versus captive agent. After that, we'll explore why independence can be such a huge game changer. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with how you can find the absolute best fit for your own situation.
All right, let's start with the fundamental challenge that really every single one of us faces. It's not just about picking a policy, it's about making your way through a really complex and, let's be honest, often super confusing marketplace. Have you ever wondered about this? I mean, think about it. You have two people, they're the same age, they ask for the same amount of coverage, but the offers they get back are just worlds apart. It seems like it shouldn't happen, but there's a very clear reason why it does. And understanding that is really the first step.
And here it is. This is the key. You have to understand that nothing in the insurance world is one size fits all. Every single company has its own rule book for pricing. They have their own philosophy for evaluating your risk, that's what underwriting is, and all of their policies have their own unique features and fine print. This is exactly where all that variation and confusion comes from.
So, how on earth are you supposed to navigate that kind of landscape? Well, this is where the independent broker comes into the picture. And the most important part of this definition is who they represent. It's you, the client, not a specific insurance company. Their entire job is to be your guide through that messy, non-standardized world.
Okay, so that brings us to the central choice you're going to face. When you go looking for advice, you're pretty much always going to run into one of two types of professionals, an independent broker or a captive agent. Now, before we put them side by side, I want you to burn these two words into your brain: flexibility and access, because this right here is the fundamental difference that really drives everything else we're about to talk about. And here's where you can see that difference in black and white. A captive agent, they work for one insurance company. That's it. Their job is to sell that one company's products. An independent broker, on the other hand, works for you, the client. And because of that, they have access to policies from tons of different insurance carriers. So think about it. If your specific situation isn't a great fit for that one company, a captive agent is kind of stuck. A broker, they can just pivot and find another one that is. And just to give you a sense of scale here, a really solid independent brokerage could have access to over 100 different carriers. Just imagine the power of that. Being able to shop the market and compare that many options to find the one single best fit for your health, your finances, and your long-term goals. Okay, so let's tie this all back to that problem we started with. How does this independence, this access and flexibility, actually solve the challenge of navigating the insurance market in the real world? You know, it really all comes down to the process. A good broker doesn't just shotgun your application out to a dozen places and hope for the best. No, they do the homework up front. First, they gather all your details: medical, lifestyle, finances, the whole shebang. Then, they strategically select the one carrier whose specific underwriting rulebook is the most favorable for your unique profile. And only then do they submit your application, positioning it to get the best possible offer. This is how you close that frustrating gap between the quote you see online and the actual price you end up paying. And hey, this isn't just about life insurance. Let's talk about retirement planning with annuities. You know, those contracts that can give you a guaranteed income for life? An independent broker isn't just shopping for the best price. They're doing a deep structural analysis. They're digging into the nitty-gritty mechanics of these policies. Things like how they credit interest, the structure of the income riders, how you can access your money, to find the one that truly lines up with your retirement goals. And for business owners, the needs get even more complex. They might need a key person policy from Company A, a disability buyout from Company B, and maybe a group medical plan from Company C. It's that independence that allows a professional to weave all these different pieces together into one cohesive strategy, instead of just trying to force a single company's products to do everything. So, with all that said, let's get to the ultimate takeaway. How do you actually use this information to find the best possible fit for you and your family? I really want you to let this sink in, because it gets right to the heart of the matter.
On the surface, two policies can look almost identical. Same price, same death benefit. But it's the fine print, the stuff buried deep inside, that determines how they actually perform when you need them most. Things like conversion options, or how the cash value works, or the specific definitions for a disability, that's where the rubber meets the road.
And really, this is what it all boils down to. It's not just about buying a product. It's about making sure that the deep internal mechanics of that policy are perfectly aligned with what you actually want it to do, whether that's protecting your family next year or giving you an income 30 years from now.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. When you look at the financial protection you have in place right now, is it just a random collection of policies that you've bought over the years? Or is it a carefully constructed, integrated plan that's truly designed to work for you? Because honestly, the answer to that question could make all the difference in the world.